Good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Ann Arbor Planning Commission. My name is Donnell Leitch. I'll be chairing tonight's meeting. For detailed information on meeting procedures, please review the full printed meeting agenda available at each end of the dais. Manager Kelly, would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Noting that there are 3 known absences this evening for Commissioner Abrams, Councilmember Dish, and Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Weich.
Here.
Commissioner Hammerschmidt.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Mills.
Here.
Commissioner Weatherby.
Here.
Commissioner Adams.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Manager Kelly. May I have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Commissioner Mills, seconded by Commissioner Lee. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 18th, 2026 meeting? Moved by Commissioner Adams, seconded by Commissioner Mills. Is there any discussion of the minutes? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. That takes us to agenda item number 5, reports. Reports to the Planning Commission and written communications. I think we have Commissioner Dish's report printed. So, Manager Kelly, were you planning to read that into the record? Great. So I will turn it over to you for this whole section.
There have been 2 council meetings since your last Planning Commission session, and I can report that at the 2/19 meeting, 7:15 through 7:17 East Huron rezoning was approved at second reading. The community participation signage UDC amendment was approved, which takes effect July 1st. And the bike parking UDC amendment was, however, sent back to this body for further review with a note to take a closer look at the Class A requirements in the D1 and D2 zoning districts, increase barrier-free requirements, and also review opportunities for more Class B bike parking across the city. So there will be some staff work on that, and you will be seeing that again at this table. And then at the March 2nd meeting, the 558 South 5th, the Dean rezoning was approved at second reading. So that is your council report. For the manager report, for any students or recent grads who are listening, Planning Services has a current paid internship opportunity posted. This closes on March 12th. We're bidding farewell as of last month to our longtime intern of over the past roughly year, Beth Hartzog, who assisted with the comprehensive plan work and some other important initiatives. She did credit us in her internship with securing her full-time position, so we are very happy that that worked out and was a beneficial learning opportunity. At your March 10th Planning Commission work session, that will be at a regular time, but it will have a different format than usual. It will be in council chambers at 7 p.m. It will be open to the public, but it is not planned to be streamed or recorded in order to encourage open discussion. Staff will be giving a Planning 101 presentation, and there will be more opportunity for dialogue between the commission and audience members than in a typical meeting. This has been communicated through the city's meeting calendar and our email subscription service, and commissioners wishing to suggest agenda topics should contact Manager Leonard by this Friday, March 6th. As a final note, I would like to mention that if all goes as planned, City Council will be voting on the comprehensive plan on the March 16th agenda. So, barring any changes from our clerk's office or unforeseen circumstances, that will be going before council at that time.
Thank you, Manager Kelly. Just a note on the work session, we made that change at my request, and we made the change that precludes it from being recorded at my request, because we're not going to sit at the dais. We're going to sit down in the audience so that we're together having a conversation, and it can't be recorded when we're down in the floor and in the chamber. So that's why there's changes for that. Okay. Great. And then Manager Kelly, just a clarification, is it, does the comp plan that comes before council on the 16th, is that a first reading or is that the complete reading? Oh, sorry, Planner Bennett is going to answer.
That will be the final decision can be made that night. There doesn't have to be a first and second reading with the comp plan.
Okay, so there's a public hearing and then a vote at that meeting.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was clear for the public in the event they thought there would be two, a first reading and then a second reading, which can be a typical process for those items. Do other commission officers or committee liaisons have anything else to report at this time? Go ahead.
ORC met last week. Is that right? People on ORC with me? It was last week. We talked about two things that are on our agenda, and then one other thing that we're going to see soon but is not on our agenda that I am blanking on, and that was the biggest conversation we had. Alexis?
Building electrification.
Okay. Building electrification. The exception to the height limit exceptions. Thank you. God. It was really fun, and you guys will see it soon with us.
Thank you, Commissioner Hammerschmidt. That brings us, pardon me. That brings us to public comment, agenda item number 6. This is an opportunity for individuals to speak up to 3 minutes for any item not listed as a public hearing or a dedicated public comment period. We will first hear from those of you who are present with us in chambers, and then we will turn to remote participants. To speak remotely, press *9 if on phone, or use the raise hand feature if on Zoom. For phone access, call 877-853-5247 and enter meeting ID 977-6634-1226. City staff will identify callers by the last 3 digits of their phone number or by name if on Zoom. You'll hear an announcement when it's your turn to speak. Please move to a quiet area and mute any background noise. For all participants, please state your name and address at the beginning of your comments. Is there anyone in chambers who would like to address us at this time? Manager Kelly, do we have remote participants?
There is one caller, phone number ending in 534. You have permission to address the Planning Commission for 3 minutes.
Good evening. This is Tom Stolberg. I'm calling from 1202 Traver Street in the heart of Lowertown. I'd like to talk about R2A in general, a little bit of history, maybe some questions that should be discussed this evening later on. But in terms of background, letting you know that one of the hats I wear is as a landlord. We have a number of duplexes, so I followed this pretty closely. About 3 years ago, the city changed the R2A rules, and the intent was to allow more duplexes where it's already zoned duplex, but things like lot sizes were too small or lot widths were too small to actually be allowed to have a duplex. So those lot sizes were reduced. And here we are today with something like 904 Lincoln. I'm sure you've heard about that one, where it's a 10,000 square foot lot. And the way the R2A rules are written, it's 2,500 square feet of lot per unit. So the house was raised there and 2 duplexes were built on that site for a total of 4 units, each 2 pods of 2 on that lot. I've asked and been told that if I have a 7,500 square foot lot or more, where I have a duplex now, I could add a 3rd unit. The 3rd unit wouldn't touch the other 2, but could be, I believe, 10 feet. I think it's double the side yard setback separation between the 2 buildings. So I'd have a pod of 2 and a pod of 1. I'd also like to confirm that if you had 5,000 square feet, that would give you 2 units. Do they have to be attached or not attached? A duplex is generally considered attached, but the way the rules were written up, I don't think it's clear that they don't have to be attached any longer. I won't swear to it, but perhaps you'll cover that. So the question is, what is a duplex these days, and or what is R2A these days? No longer a duplex. You can have multiple units, more than 2 on a lot, and the configuration can be a couple different orientations. So I hope that history helps with your discussion later on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stolberg.
There are no further hands raised at this time.
Thank you, Manager Kelly. I'll close the public comment and ask if there are communications from commissioners. Seeing none, Manager Kelly, could you apprise us of the public hearing scheduled for the next business meeting?
Absolutely. At your next regular session, which I'm blanking, it's on 3/18 or 3/17. I'll find out in a second. 3/17 on March 17th at 7 p.m. in these chambers. There is the 525 South State Street street vacation for City Council approval. This is a proposal to vacate the northern 26.5 feet of the South University right-of-way between South State Street and East University Avenues. All properties abutting this right-of-way are owned by the University of Michigan. This is in Ward 1. And the second is the 615 Riverview Drive rezoning for City Council approval. This is a proposed annexation and rezoning of a single-family lot from Ann Arbor Charter Township to the City of Ann Arbor R1B zoning district. There's no proposed development. The lot is 14,375 square feet and found in Ward 2. There may be a non-public hearing, dedicated public comment item, but we're still tracking those to see if they're ready. We're not quite ready to confirm, but you might end up having a third agenda item.
All right. Thank you, Manager Kelly. That takes us to agenda item number 9, unfinished business. There is none, which brings us to agenda item 10A, regular business. This is 359 and 371 South Wagner Road rezoning, REZ 25-0006 for City Council approval. This is a petition to rezone 2 residential parcels totaling 12,197 square feet area from R1D single-family residential to R2A single-family residential. The 359 South Wagner Road parcel has a single-family home, and the 371 South Wagner Road is a vacant parcel. The applicant wishes to demolish the single-family home and build one two-family home per parcel. The requirement for an area plan is not required per 5.29.7a, nor is a site plan required per table 5.29-1 of the Unified Development Code. Staff recommendation is approval. We'll first hear from the petitioner, then we'll hear a staff presentation, followed by a public hearing, then our discussion, followed by our vote. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Candace Breyer with Midwestern Consulting. I'm here with Martin Skora. He's the owner and the applicant for this petition. We're happy to be here to talk about the requested rezoning. So as mentioned, this is 2 existing parcels located on the east side of Wagner Road, south of Jackson. There is an existing house at 359 where Marty lives, and then the property to the south at 371 is currently vacant. There are 2 additional parcels that Marty owns immediately east of these parcels. Those are also zoned R1D, but are not part of this request. It's just for the 2 that front on Wagner. There are several similarly sized residential parcels north of here that are all also zoned R1D. The Dolph Nature Area is immediately adjacent to these parcels to the south and east. That property is all zoned public land. And then on the west side of Wagner Road, that's Scioto Township, so those parcels are all zoned for limited industrial. The permitted primary, special exception, accessory, temporary uses in the R1D and R2A zoning districts are exactly the same, except for 2-family dwellings, which are prohibited in the R1D district. So the approval of the requested rezoning to R2A would allow for the construction of one duplex building on each of these two lots. The two new buildings would have direct access to South Wagner Road and be designed to the dimensional requirements of the R2A district, which again are not significantly different from the dimensional requirements of R1D. I think the only difference is the side setback is slightly larger for R2A. As far as the future land use plan goes, the current West Area future land use map designates these parcels as single and two-family residential. The future land use map from the current draft of the comprehensive plan identifies these parcels as residential, and as I'm sure you are all very well aware, the residential land use category is intended to provide a variety of housing options to accommodate diverse household incomes and types. The preferred building forms include duplexes and triplexes as primary uses under the new comprehensive plan. And additionally, the requested rezoning supports the goals and strategies of both the current master plan land use element and the draft comprehensive plan by providing a range of housing choices that meets the existing and anticipated needs of city residents and increasing the supply and diversity of housing types for households of different sizes, abilities, and income levels. We did have a community participation meeting a couple weeks ago on February 19th. Postcards were sent out, up to 69, I think, postcards were sent out. Only one of them came back as undeliverable, so that was a win. I think we had 8 attendees at the meeting that asked a few questions, and overall it was pretty short meeting. But copies of the meeting summary and the notification, the presentation, all that should have been included with your packet. With that, we're happy to answer any questions. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward, so.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you. Planner Bennett will have your staff presentation. You all can sit down while Planner Bennett gives their presentation, and then we'll call you up if we have questions.
I don't have much to add. I think it's pretty straightforward. Rezoning request, as the applicant mentioned, it aligns with our current future land use map and the one that we are hoping to adopt soon. There have been no other concerns from staff that reviewed this, and you can see in your packet that we have recommended approval.
Great, thank you. I will now open the public hearing. This is an opportunity for individuals to speak up to 3 minutes on this one item. We'll first hear from those of you present, and then we'll turn to remote participants. To speak remotely, press *9 if on phone, or use the raise hand feature if on Zoom. For phone access, dial 877-853-5247 and enter meeting ID 977-6634-1226. City staff will identify callers by the last 3 digits of their phone number or by name if on Zoom. You'll hear an announcement when it's your turn to speak. Please ensure you're in a quiet area and mute any background noise. For all participants, please state your name and address at the beginning of your comments. Is there anyone present in chambers who'd like to speak on this matter? Do we have remote participants who would like to speak on this item?
There is one hand raised, Mr. Chair. Phone number ending in 534. You have 3 minutes to address the Planning Commission.
Hello, Tom Stolberg again. I'll be extremely brief. Hopefully you can address the, if you have 2 units, do they have to be touching in R2A question on a lot of 5,000 square feet or more? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stolberg. We can, Planner DeLeo I'll ask the question in just a minute if that's okay. All right. Manager Kelly, are we done with remote participants? Sorry.
There are no further
Okay,
callers.
great. Thank you. Therefore, I will close the public hearing and read the motion. The proposed motion is the Ann Arbor City Planning Commission recommends that the mayor and city council approve the rezoning of 359 and 371 South Wagner Road from R1D, single family, to R2A, two family. Moved by Commissioner Mills, seconded by Commissioner Lee. That brings us into discussion, and if someone wants to pose Mr. Stahlberg's question, Planner DeLeo has an answer, and we could start there, or if someone else wants to kick off, we can start where you'd like to start. All right, Commissioner Hammersmith asks that Planner DeLeo respond to Mr. Stahlberg's question.
Thank you. The R2A district allows both single-family homes and two-family homes or duplexes. So you can, as long as you meet the lot area calculations per dwelling unit, you can develop either a single-family home or a two-family home, or with enough lot area, some combination of those. If you are going to develop a duplex or two-family home, those units must attach to meet the definition of a two-family building, and it has somewhat also to do with the building code. But because both types of uses are permitted, both structures are permitted.
Thank you, Planner DeLeo. Do we have any other discussion on this matter? Commissioner Lee.
Thank you. This looks pretty straightforward to me. Follows the comprehensive land use plan currently in the 2009 plan, so I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Planner Bennett, what are we receiving?
I'm sorry I didn't pass that out earlier, but the property owner, Martin here, who's in the audience, he delivered these to City Hall to share with the planning commissioners. I believe these are examples of homes that you have built. Yes, built across the city of Ann Arbor. So they're meant to be a reference or an example of the type of work that he's done before in the past.
All right. Thank you. Any other commissioner comments or discussion? Commissioner Hammersmith.
I know that we all know this. I just want to point out that you said it too in your presentation. This is what we are looking to do in the new comprehensive plan. So this would be an example of a project if once the comp plan passes, if we are able to do new zoning and allow more than just a single family residential in residential districts, this would be a by right project, and you would not have to be here or go to city council, which saves time and money. So yes, I will also be supporting this, and in the future, you shouldn't even have to be here. Thanks.
Other commissioners? Are we ready to vote? Manager Kelly, would you please call the roll?
Yes. On the motion as presented, Weish.
Yes.
Hammerschmidt.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Mills.
Yes.
Weatherby.
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you, and good luck. That brings us to item 10B, regular business, street vacation for John Street. Street vacation for John Street, a proposal to vacate John Street, a one-block street extending between South Fifth Avenue and South Division Street. All properties abutting John Street are owned by the applicant, the University of Michigan. Staff recommendation is approval. We have a petitioner presentation followed by a staff presentation followed by a public hearing followed by reading the motion, our discussion, and a vote. Welcome.
Relations in the Office of Government Relations at U of M. The vacation of John Street will allow the university to move forward with Phase 2 of the Wolverine Village project. Phase 1 is going to be complete in August of this year, and we hope to break ground on Phase 2 in the next couple of months, depending on the approvals required to the city. So we're working with it. We're just starting that process now. But John Street, because of the way it's juxtaposed in the middle of the site, was key to allow us to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll turn to Planner DeLeo. Thank Planner Bennett. Good night. For a staff presentation.
Thank you. Please allow me to present the staff report that was prepared by Planner Joshua Shape, who is out of the country right now, working remotely. This is the John Street vacation for City Council approval, for which the Planning Commission makes a recommendation. The University of Michigan owns the entirety of John Street, which is a one-block street extending between South Fifth Avenue and South Division Street. And they are seeking vacation so they can further, as mentioned, their South Campus plan or sub-area plan. To vacate a street, City Council must pass a resolution, and the street is considered vacated at the time the resolution is recorded. There are some public sanitary water and stormwater mains located in this right-of-way, but they are to serve the parcels on John Street, which are owned by the University of Michigan. And so ownership of these mains will be turned over from the city to the university. I believe, as mentioned, the staff recommends that the street vacation be approved. The vacation is in the public interest and will facilitate future use, land use of the adjacent parcels. The staff report contains some city engineering comments that require no further action but are provided for your information, and they contain some of the procedures and requirements and some of the things that will happen upon vacation regarding the utilities, both public and private, that are in this former street. I am happy to answer any further questions. I have forgot to advance the slides. These are the same images that are in the staff report. Here's just an aerial photo, and here is an excerpt from the University of Michigan South Campus plan.
Thank you, Planner DeLeo. We'll now open a public hearing on this item. This is an opportunity for individuals to speak up to 3 minutes on this item. We'll first hear from those of you who are present, then remote participants. To speak remotely, press star 9 if on phone, or use the raise hand feature if on Zoom. For phone access, dial 877-853-5247 and enter meeting ID 977-6634-1226. Staff will identify callers by the last 3 digits of their phone number or by name if on Zoom. You will hear an announcement when it's your turn to speak. Please ensure you're in a quiet area and please mute any background noise. For all participants, please state your name and address at the beginning of your comments. Is there anyone present in chambers who'd like to address us at this time? Seeing none, Manager Kelly, do we have remote participants who'd like to address us on this item?
We no longer have remote participants in our meeting.
Therefore, I shall close the public hearing and read the proposed motion. The Ann Arbor City Planning Commission hereby recommends that the Mayor and City Council approve amendments to Chapter 55, Unified Development Code, Section 5.22, related... No, I've jumped ahead of me. Thank you. It's a much longer motion. I was like, this is just a vacation. We shall read the correct motion now. The Ann Arbor City Planning Commission hereby recommends that the Mayor and City Council approve the John Street vacation. Moved by Commissioner Mills, seconded by Commissioner Lee. Double vacation. All right. Any discussion of this item? Oh, Commissioner Mills.
I love when streets go on vacation. Like, I just think that's fun. And then we get to do this again in 2 weeks is fun. And one of the questions that I've had over time that I feel like maybe once upon a time it was asked and I've forgotten the answer to is what happens, like who gets the land, which the staff report suggests that it's equitably divided with people on either side. I get it. Like if that's the policy, cool. also recognize when we've been talking about right-of-way that we have and the price and what it would cost to expand existing right-of-way, like we have to buy it. And so I'm not suggesting, I mean, this is something that I think is not specific to this property, but just strikes me as that once upon a time, we probably we may in some situations have purchased this right-of-way, this public land, and when we vacate it, like, poof. Yeah. So, in Commissioner Lee's kind of words here, because, so I don't know how I feel about that, especially given how hard it is. I mean, overall, as the policy, I think that this one makes sense. It's a road potentially to nowhere, and I actually think about like movement around that space, and I don't know that it adds additional value in terms of circulation. But just knowing how tricky it is and how expensive it would be to acquire additional right-of-way overall, it feels a shame that that there's not revenue that can then be circulated back into the purchase of new right-of-way in places where we do need it now so. Overall, I support this, and it's more about the policy. But I don't think that is actually in the UDC. Is that right? About how vacations work? Yeah.
Thank you. Right-of-way vacation or street vacation is a process very specific to a plat. The city did not purchase this. When you plat land, which is almost exclusively done for residential purposes, but it could be a commercial plat. When you plat land, some of it is shown as public rights of way, and some is platted lots, and the developer generally sells off the platted lots but dedicates the land, the roads, to the local jurisdiction. For right-of-way that we have purchased or the city has purchased or some other acquired, it's a different process. Street vacation is a very specific process related to the Plat Act. And so it's undoing a portion of a plat. So I can almost guarantee that the city did not purchase this particular right-of-way. And it is the Plat Act that specifies how you both record a plat, but also do a street vacation. And when both sides of the street come from the same plat, the process is that the right-of-way gets split straight down the middle, and little pieces go to each side. But it depends on where the land comes from, because if you're at the edge of a plat, and all of the land came from the one plat, and you have an adjacent plat to the other side, land doesn't go to those other plat people or lots. It stays within the plat. And that's a procedure that's specified in the Plat Act. If that makes sense, I was speaking fast.
And that's a state law. The Plat Act is a state law.
It is correct, yes. It's a way to subdivide and sell off land.
That is very interesting. Thank you for teaching me today.
Thank you, Planner DeLeo, sorry. Commissioner Weatherby, and then Commissioner Hammersmith.
So I think this is maybe more for the petitioner. One of the things about this, as someone who lives in that area and has noodled down John Street many a time, it does make kind of a really big block. And when we talk about like street vacations and what's going to happen, I do get concerned that then this will just be a big monolithic block that is no longer permeable to the average person. And I just didn't know if the university had any, because you've got the space on the other side too, and now this is in a place where people walk through often, like it's getting chunkier and chunkier for the average pedestrian to sort of get through. And I think, there is a lot of stuff on both sides that would be nice to get to. So I don't know if there is a specific plan that will allow for sort of non-motorized transit through that quite big block.
Well, if you look at how, and I think one of the images shows phase one, Commissioner Weatherby, and there will be an internal way to get through, as well as an external along the railroad, what they're calling Wolverine Way.
Yeah.
But this will also be divided so students will be able to walk through the middle of it, as well as along both streets.
And will non-students be able to walk through it?
And what's that?
Will non-students be able to walk
yeah,
through?
yeah, I mean,
Like it's like a university, an existing university space where it might
Big
not be
common
clear
area.
that you can get through, but
Yeah.
that there is a way through.
Like many of the walkways on Central Campus. So, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody will be able to walk.
Yeah. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Weatherby. Commissioner Hammerschmidt.
That was actually the same exact question I was going to ask, so thank you. I was in the staff report saying, and no offense, but the vacation will have no impacts on vehicular or pedestrian access. I was like, hold on, because this would create an entire super block. So I appreciate your explanation and look forward to seeing what you guys build.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Lee.
Sure. Yeah. Just a note for folks that the vacation of the underground stormwater facility does come with upsizing. I think alongside Madison Division and Packard, I think is what I read in here. Just wanted to confirm that that was indeed going to occur to service this.
Once they're vacated, we take responsibility for them, and they'll be incorporated as part of the overall plan, which comes back to the engineering review and things like that.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Yep. Looks good to me. I'll be in support of this. Thank you.
Any other comments? Are we ready to vote? Manager Kelly, would you please call the roll?
On the motion as presented, Weish,
Yes.
Hammerschmidt,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Mills.
Yes.
Weatherby,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you.
I have to comment this meeting has to be a little different than what you Sorry.
What do you mean?
Thanks for your help.
Yep. Have no idea. That takes us to 10C, regular business. Amendment to Chapter 55 Unified Development Code regarding stormwater management reviews. A proposal to amend Section 5.22 Stormwater Management and Soil Erosion to clarify the sites that are within the jurisdiction of the Washtenaw County Water Resource Commissioner. Therefore, stormwater management plan reviews are deferred. Staff recommendation is approval. We'll start with a staff presentation by Planner DeLeo, and then we'll have a public hearing. Planner DeLeo.
Thank you. We have presented to you tonight in your packet one staff report that covers two different amendments proposed as two separate agenda items with one staff report. The first are some amendments to Section 522.1 Stormwater Management, specifically paragraph C. That proposes to clarify the current requirement for when stormwater management review is delegated to the Washtenaw County Water Resources Commissioner. From henceforth, I will say the county, by switching to an easier to understand list. My colleagues in the public services area have asked for these amendments. They have found that the current language is not very clear to our customers, which are generally developers. And we have proposed the changes both on the screen and in the packet. This section was revised recently into 2022 to adjust the review responsibility between the county and the city to match our geographical boundaries. As I mentioned, our staff find our resulting language a little bit confusing, and we agree. So we are proposing these amendments to just write out the circumstances for when review of stormwater management systems will be done by the county. It is a more easier to understand, straightforward list, but it does maintain the same gist. We are recommending approval of these.
All right. That takes us to a public hearing. Manager Kelly, we have no members of the public in the chambers. Do we have any members of the public online?
How wise of you to ask this before reading your spiel. We have no remote callers.
Since we have no members of the public in present nor online, I will hereby open and close the public hearing and read the proposed motion without objection from the table. Okay. The Ann Arbor City Planning Commission hereby recommends that the mayor and city council approve amendments to Chapter 55 Unified Development Code, Section 5.22 related to stormwater management review to clarify the circumstances when review by the Washtenaw County Water Resources Commissioner, WCWRC, is necessary as proposed in the attached ordinance. Moved by Commissioner Mills, seconded by Commissioner Adams. Discussion. Are you ready to vote? Manager Kelly, would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Weatherby.
Yes.
Commissioner Mills.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammerschmidt.
Yes.
Commissioner Weiss.
Yes.
That carries unanimously.
Thank you, everyone. That takes us to 10D, an amendment to Chapter 55 Unified Development Code regarding solid waste terms. A proposal to amend Sections 5.18 Special Dimensional and Site Layout Standards, 5.20 Landscaping, Screening, and Buffering, 5.29 Specific Procedures, and 5.37 Definitions to change outdated references and terms related to solid waste and solid waste containers for consistency with recent amendments to Chapter 26, Solid Waste Management, and the Solid Waste Regulations. Staff recommendation is approval, and we have a staff presentation by Planner DeLeo.
Thank you. I will again be referring to our joint staff report. Now, these are amendments to throughout the UDC to match up with some changes made by other colleagues to Chapter 26 and the solid waste regulations. The Chapter 26 was, I'm mumbling, so let me start again. The staff report contains a summary of the amendments, both the current text and the proposed text. It is not exact language. It is a summary table in the code, or in the staff report. But you should know that there were revisions to the solid waste regulations approved by City Council in December of this year and in January. And Chapter 26 was also amended in January of this year. The changes include updating and adding some new definitions and provisions for solid waste container storage and collection. The UDC already obviously references solid waste, and we use some of the same terms, actually most of them, but we apply them inconsistently and sometimes create combinations of words that are not actually found in Chapter 26 or the solid waste regulations. In the packet, those key terms that you'll see crossed over between the two chapters are listed, as well as their definitions. And we did a review, knowing that those terms and references were changed. We did a review of the UDC and found a short number of places that we should update to match and use the terms that the solid waste chapter is using. We should use them correctly and as they are properly defined. Our proposed changes include a change to Section 518, which is the Special Dimensional and Site Layout Standards, specifically 518.1.B.2.A. That is on your screen now. It is regarding what is permitted in the front yard of a residential zoning district. And we are proposing to change solid waste containers to curb carts. Second change that we are proposing is in Section 520, which is landscaping, screening, and buffering, specifically subsection 520.6. On your screen are the track changes and final changes of our proposed amendment. We are amending it to specifically apply screening and buffering for solid waste container points of storage when it's visible from a street, a park, or a residential zoning district, and with curb carts, and as usual, curb carts on parcels with single and two-family dwellings are still exempt. The changes will clarify that screening and buffering is required for the point of storage, not necessarily point of collection, which could be out near the street, and only when existing buildings do not already provide screening. A third amendment that we are proposing is to section 529.1, addressing zoning permits. The change we are proposing is to change dumpster to solid waste container, that reference. And our fourth amendment proposed is in section 529.8, which deals with required plan information. In paragraph D, the dimensional plan layout, and in paragraph H, the landscape plan, we are amending whatever term we have come up with on our own to the actual term of solid waste enclosure, container points of storage, and points of collection.
Thank you, Planner DeLeo.
We have one more amendment, though.
Oh.
I'll be quicker. It's to the definition of open space.
You took a long pause there.
It is to the definition of open space, and, not surprisingly, we are recommending approval of these amendments.
Thank you, Planner DeLeo. Manager Kelly, there remains no one of the public in chambers. What's our condition online? So I shall open and close the public hearing, seeing as though there are no members of the public, either in chambers present with us, nor online, and I will read the proposed motion. The Ann Arbor City Planning Commission hereby recommends that the mayor and city council approve amendments to Chapter 55, Unified Development Code, sections 5.18, 5.20, 5.29, and 5.37 related to solid waste terms for consistency and accuracy with recent amendments to Chapter 26 and the solid waste regulations as proposed in the attached ordinance. Moved by Commissioner Lee, seconded by Commissioner Mills. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Mills.
I just want to thank staff for including the track changes version since when ORC saw it last week.
Commissioner Lee.
Just to be clear, all of this is just simply simplifying and making consistent the verbiage and lexicon related to solid waste containers, correct?
I would say 99% yes. There is some changes in that landscaping and screening section. I think if you read that word for word right now, it implies that the screening goes around all four sides of the enclosure, and we wanted to make it clear that you do not need to screen all four sides. It's specifically screened from view from those points of view, and if the buildings themselves screen, not necessary. And that way also you can get to the solid waste. So
yes.
Because it's not screened on all four sides.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you very much.
I just have a question. None of these changes impose changes on existing structures, or do they now become, if they don't have let's say the fenced area, if they don't meet that standard, do they become non-compliant and they only get revised if there's something that happens on that site?
That aspect remains unchanged by this terminology change. Even without these changes, if something did not provide screening, it may be non-conforming, but the landscaping and screening section in this entirety is applied upon site plan approval. So existing sites without the screening and buffering will just remain as is, but if they are site plan, they are subject to compliance with current code.
Great. Any other discussion, questions, comments, or follow-up? Seeing none, Manager Kelly, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Adams.
Yes.
Weatherby.
Yes.
Mills.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Hammerschmidt.
Yes.
Weish.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you, Planner DeLeo. That takes us to 11A, other business. There is none. Manager Kelly, have we acquired any remote participants?
No, you've not.
Seeing as there are no members of the public in chambers with us nor online, I shall open and close the public comment. And then commission proposed business. Is there any? I'm sorry, friends. I do have one question. So I've been tracking with the 9 bills that have been co-sponsored in a bipartisan, bi-chamber way in the state to make housing a little bit easier to build here in the state, and was highlighted by Governor Whitmer's State of the State address this past month. And I wondered, did staff have any plans to apprise this commission or the public on these collection of bills, or whether or not staff had any indication whether the city's lobbying efforts were in support of these initiatives, and whether staff would be able to give us any kind of updates or guidance, especially as we look forward to the comprehensive land use appearing before council, and if approved, then the process of us starting the work to implement that. So mainly, have there been any discussions inside staff about these bills that would be helpful for this commission to be made aware of? Are our lobbying efforts in support of this? And what, if any, impacts would this collection of bills have on the comp plan and our work to amend our UDC?
Yes, staff are aware of these bills. We luckily have access to the Michigan Association of Planning. They sent out a email alerting membership about this, and we resent a staff-wide email to make sure that our team was aware, but we haven't yet had a chance to have a conversation. That's the type of thing we'll usually discuss at one of our all-staff meetings, so we have not done that yet. Specifically on that topic, I would be happy to compile a list of relevant links to share with the commission by email if you would find that useful. But we did not have special plans to brief the commission on these other, but I would be happy to expand your awareness of them by collecting some information and sharing it. I'm not aware of the extent of the city's lobbyist involvement.
I think what would be interesting to me, and I defer to staff, I think I'll send an article to you, Manager Kelly, which has, I think it's from Strong Towns, Grand Rapids. There's a review of all the bills and links to them so that you don't have to compile that. You could use that if you want it for source material, or if there's something else you want to use. I think what was interesting to me was I didn't know when we get engaged in this process, if at all. And by that I mean, do we wait until the legislation passes and then it's a response to the passage of the legislation, or if there is work that is teed up in anticipation that it may pass, especially something like this, which has so much legislative support, because one of the key things in it that was surprising to me in my review was the change in the minimum setbacks. They are changing the rules in such a way that one can interpret it as no municipality can create a setback greater than 15 feet from the property line, or 5, it says or 5 feet from the rear or side setback. And I know some of our minimum setback rules exceed that, and that if enacted, I'm sure there'd be enough time from the state for local municipalities to address that. So I don't think I'm trying to get ahead of that process. I'm just trying to understand how we should think about that. So if there's any guidance that you have, I'm open to it at this time. Otherwise, what you've already communicated is sufficient.
I would say that if it is something that your body wishes to discuss, we can certainly put time and agenda if you would like to send a communication as a body to the city council, city council would be the most appropriate body to weigh in in a supportive stance or in a, no support letter on individual bills, and they would send those through the city clerk, and they can be there's a certain time that they're read on the House floor and so forth. And then also it would be through the wishes of the city council and city administration to advise the city's lobbyists to support or not or express dissatisfaction with particular bills, because, for example, the preemption that you mentioned for 15 feet, that would put some of our efforts to right-size the TC1 setbacks, for example, into a difficult spot because there's nuance there. But yeah, I'm open to your. I actually am not sure of how fast-moving these are, what the timeline is, so I'm not sure how that plays into any interest of the body to discuss it further.
Commissioner Adams.
The only thing I was going to say is if you discuss it at your staff meeting, I would think about the way that I understand the preemption to work here is it wouldn't take wherever our number is and reduce it to their number. It would zap the number. So it would zero out on the effective date everything that's in conflict. So the way that normally you'd address that is some type of springing or savings clause that would say, in the event of some sort of nullification, we go to this number. I'm not sure if that's something you want to have in the can in case these pass, so that the number doesn't become zero overnight whenever the effective date is. I haven't read the date of the bills in terms of when they go live. Just something to think about to get in front of it in case it does happen, because I don't think that we necessarily want everything to go to zero. That's it.
I know I proposed this, but if anyone else has a comment before I conclude my comments with Manager Kelly, I'm open.
Well, if it is something that you would like to discuss, I would like, to know that there's broad interest in it. If it's something that you would like to bring up for awareness, I think that has been satisfied, and I'm happy to circulate more links or resources. I guess I'm not sure what the next
I think for me, my interest level is what you just said based on what I just said. So if the minimum setbacks are 15 and 5, that would have an impact here. And so then what is there a plan? Is there like a standard operating procedure for things like this, since it's a package of bills that are being proposed? So you wait until they're passed and then you respond to them, or if there is a standard operating procedure whereby city staff prepare in the event that it's going to be passed and then respond to it. And if that's the case, I would be interested in this conversation appearing on a work session where we don't already have something planned and it might have been queued up for cancellation, just so that we understand. And then if we can understand, then we can help the public understand how these changes might impact in their local community. So that's all, and I'm happy if at this point you want to take this offline and we can discuss it, but I did want to just bring it in the event that you already had something in place, because you all are capable, competent, active, working planners who are nimble in responding to state changes.
I will take this back and see what the best course of action will be with Manager Leonard.
Okay. Thank you, Manager Kelly. Any other commissioner proposed business? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner Lee, seconded by Commissioner Weatherby. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. And I still got